Microsoft announced this week they are raising the price of Game Pass Ultimate by 50% in the US and some other markets, causing a rush of angry cancellations so large that the Xbox website apparently crashed multiple times. This $10 price increase comes 2 days after Xbox President Sarah Bond said that Game Pass was already profitable. Microsoft tried to soften the sticker shock by presenting this change as an upgrade that adds Ubisoft classics, Fortnite Crew, as well as a promise to have 75 plus day one games per year. This comes the same week that Xbox's hardware's Xbox hardware's second price hike in less than a year, a month after Costco removed all Xbox items from their stores, and a few months after another round of closures and mass layoffs across Xbox studios. Combined with the recent release of some iconic Xbox exclusives on PlayStation, Xbox devotees are beginning to feel as though Microsoft's Xbox hardware division may be in a bit of a death spiral. But not all is lost, X-Bros. Although revenue from hardware sales was down 22% year over year in the quarter ending June 30th, 2025, Microsoft's chairman and CEO Satya Nadella said Game Pass annual revenue was nearly $5 billion for the first time. With 37 million active subscribers as of July 2025, Microsoft may be relying more and more on that service to drag the entire Xbox division into the green. Which is the gaming landscape to which pre-orders of the new ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X opened at a price of $600 for the one that has a CPU that's like 5 years old at this point. Okay, I don't think it's actually quite 5 years old. Okay, how old is how old is Zen 2? Zen 2 release year. Oh, okay, cool. Zen 2 launched in 2019. If anything, I was being charitable. Cool. So, and $1,000 for the one that actually has like a modern new CPU in it. Whew. I was talking to David about this, who's actually the one who prepped this topic, or was I talking to Plouffe about it? I don't know. I was talking to one of them. They look so similar. I was talking to someone from the writing department about this, and they were basically making the argument that the ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X are going to be successful products, but the price is going to be a significant impediment. And I don't know, man. I gotta say, I think I haven't played on it yet. As you guys may or may not have noticed, there's one sitting here. That arrived minutes before the show, so I haven't even touched it again.
Well, no,
since the event.
It was here for like an hour and a half.
Okay, well, I wasn't.
Yeah.
The point is that I'm saying all of this before I've actually like given it a fair shot yet. But what's happening here is sort of regardless of the price of the various allies and their Xboxes related sort of collab products, it's a fundamental shift in the hardware model of Xbox, right? Instead of first-party hardware that is subsidized by a built-in game store collecting 30% from every developer who sells a game through it, which is what this is up against in the form of the Steam Deck, which, by the way, is on like mega sale right now and is an insane value.
It really is.
This is relying on third-party partners who have to make their margin on the product. And as far as I am aware, although this may not be the case, as far as I'm aware, Microsoft has not engaged in the same kind of profit sharing that has driven like the mobile industry, for instance, to sell like mobile kiosks and mobile stores selling plans and selling hardware and then getting a long-term kickback. So there doesn't appear to be a similar system in place to help subsidize this hardware for Microsoft's partners. So I don't really see how this can compete with a PlayStation 5 and a Portal, which is going to cost You could get a PlayStation 5 Pro and a Portal for the cost of an ROG Xbox LAX.
This is a Steam Deck right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A Steam Deck
That's actually nuts.
costs literally like 27% as much as this. It costs literally
that is the lowest end model, and that is the LCD model.
less than half of the Ally, the non-X. Less than half. That's what you're up against. You're up against Valve taking their 30% and using it to subsidize their hardware. You're up against Sony being able to price a PlayStation 5 Pro plus a Portal at less than your Ally X. That's a tough position to be in. I'm going to make sure I'm right about that. PS5 Pro MSRP, what is it right now? I think it's $750 US. And that's the Pro, the one that most people agree don't really need. And then the Portal is PS5, I think it's $250, right? Hold on, I might be wrong about this. I want to make sure I'm right about this. $199. Oh, but has since around $200. Yeah, there you go. So good luck, everyone. We have a bunch of discussion questions. Ooh, this is a spicy one. Is Game Pass still the best value in gaming at now $30 a month? It's oh man. See, I
have probably just an annoying take on this. I don't know if
sure.
No, and it wasn't because you don't own your games. I don't think it was a good value. I don't think it is a good value. I don't think it was a good value.
Okay, tell me this.
But I value owning my games.
Sure, but retrospectively, right? Just devil's advocate take. I've actually never subscribed to Game Pass. I also just pay for games. And a big part of that for me is that I can super duper afford to buy games.
I can afford to, which is a privilege.
And I think it's pretty cool that if I really like a game, the developer gets a bunch of that money. So that's not because I think Game Pass is a bad deal. I've made arguments on camera, and I meant what I said, that Game Pass has been at times an outstanding value for what it is. But so let me make that argument then. What if over the last couple of years that you'd been paying $20 a month for Game Pass, you played through? So that would be, I think it's discounted if you buy it on a yearly basis. But let's assume you paid monthly. So you've paid $500 in Game Pass over a couple of years. Let's say that you played through 20 single player experiences you don't plan to play again. Did you get a great value?
What if DLCs come out for them? I mean, what if I do want to touch that game again for some reason, and then I cancel my subscription and I can't get my save back because it's tied to that version? Yeah,
and that's fair. But what if also...
What if I do want to play one of those games again? It's a very specific what if to say that you played a very, very large amount of games and never want to play any of them again.
That's fair.
That might be an archetype of gamer, for sure. I'm certain someone watching this perfectly fits in that category.
Or what if you're someone who, in the past, wasted a lot of money buying games, playing them for 3 to 5 hours, and then realizing they don't actually care about them that much, and it allowed you to be to drift around from game to game and not worry about the extra financial burden of that.
I have literally ran into a scenario where there was an update to a game that seemed interesting.
Yeah.
And someone that I played it with when it first launched, I reached out to and was like, hey, this looks pretty cool. Do you want to try it out? And they were like, I don't know if it's worth reactivating my subscription. And it's like, all right, dude.
That's fair.
Cool. But I just own it. So I guess I'll go check it out myself.
There's a lot of discussion on this in the Floatplane chat. Some people are saying dude, game ownership is so overrated. As a gamer of 44 years, I have over 800 games and I practically never go back to play one. Meanwhile, you've got other people that are... Oh, this is an argument we didn't even talk about. Fantastic in Floatplane chat says, I've got something like 2,500 games in my Steam library, most of which I haven't gotten around to playing. So for me, I can't justify Game Pass subscription just because I have so much other stuff to play that there'd be no reason for me to spend more money on games at all right now.
There was a Steam Autumn sale.
Walker makes a really important point that we're talking Game Pass Ultimate, which not only includes the games, but For certain games, it also gives access to a cloud streaming platform, which might be good for people on older PCs or who are often on the go. So
that's fair. I didn't actually know that because I don't care. But
there are solid arguments, I think, both ways.
I can understand there being scenarios where, for me, it makes no sense. Yeah. I don't want it. I like the idea that I'm more directly supporting developers when I buy the full fat game. I have a huge backlog of games that I want to play. I see no desire to be hungrily biting at the bit of new Game Pass releases. A Game Pass does not mean that you get every game. It means you get every game that's on Game Pass.
Yep.
And they could remove the game that you're playing whenever they feel like it. Well, I don't like any of that. I also I'm looking at the Steam Autumn Sale, which is running right now.
Hobbs points out that in some cases, save transfers are not possible between Windows Store and Steam versions of games.
What I was saying earlier.
Yep.
I think that's actually really important, personally.
I used to back up my save data. I still have my Dragon Age Origins save file. I don't think I've ever actually been tempted to fire it up. And even if I did, the game has probably been updated so many times that it wouldn't even necessarily work. I've run into that a lot of times. So I don't know. But then the flip side of that is when I went to start Tears of the Kingdom, I super cared that I still had my Breath of the Wild save. I don't know. There
are games I care about it a lot. There are also games where I go back and I'm like, this save is unplayable because I don't remember anything about what's going on.
Or I did everything wrong.
But then the Steam Notes feature is cool. Fantastic for that. And is becoming less of a problem. What is the name? Control is the name of that game. Yeah, dude, what the heck? These type of sales happen. So if you can just be a little bit patient, you could get Control Ultimate Edition for $5 Canadian.
Yeah, it's $3.50.
When you could get 10 games of this caliber a month, once you convert that to USD, I think it's probably around there.
Not quite, but close. 8, let's say 8.
8 games of this caliber a month, or Game Pass Ultimate. I'm getting these, dude.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every time.
That's valid. Apparently it's free on Epic. Or no, maybe not right now. Oh, yeah, a bunch of people are saying free on GOG, free on Epic. That's wild.
Control is?
Apparently. I don't know.
Free on GOG?
That's pretty cool. You should definitely get it from GOG if you can.
Yeah.
GOG is pretty based.
Very. Yeah, I didn't even consider that argument. The DRM-free nature of GOG is the complete opposite of we will take it from you whenever we want.
And you will pay us a subscription forever.
And your save won't transfer and screw you.
Yeah.
I would way rather support GOG than get a freaking Game Pass. No.
All right.
Not personally. I'm not going to judge someone else for getting it. Do your thing.
That's a fair take.
Not for me.
I think that's a fair take. Our other discussion question here is: do you think Microsoft might be trying to push
support
people?
the devs? But hold on, support the devs, but also don't buy it until it's 90% off. WTF? I don't tend to do that too often. I was saying that's a strat that is really good if you're looking at min-maxing your dollar value.
It's also not Luke's fault that the devs priced it at that amount. You're still definitely supporting them. It's more of a spur change kind of support, but that game's also been out for 8 years or something like that.
Control?
When did Control come out?
5.
6 years ago?
September 10th, 2020.
All right. Okay, our next discussion is: do you think Microsoft might be trying to push people into the lower Game Pass tiers with no day one releases, rather than just backing out of their day one Game Pass release promise? Is this sort of a tactical price increase of Ultimate?
Which I've heard is a decent strat, actually. Because if you really care about a game and you want it day one, you could just buy it. And for everything else, you have your Game Pass. I've heard that's a thing that quite a few people do. So,
yep.
I don't know.
There's a bunch more discussion questions here, David. These are all really interesting. I almost wonder if this should just be its own video. I'll mark that because I don't think we can talk about this forever on. Maybe this is just a video in a bit. Okay.
One thing that will inevitably be on Game Pass, because Forza is a Microsoft Studio thing, but I'm excited about it anyways, is they are finally going to Japan. Forza Horizon 6 is going to be in Japan. And that's actually pretty sick.